Hi, John Harbaugh here with the Harbaugh Coaching Academy. The importance of coaches in the lives of young athletes can never be underestimated, especially today. I hope you enjoy the valuable, practical insights in this interview with our expert coach. And be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we are sitting here with Ravens defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, for the Harbaugh Coaching Academy. Does that still sound fun, defensive coordinator?
It definitely sounds fun, man. It definitely sounds fun, and what makes it even funner is the Baltimore Ravens in front of it. So glad to be here in Baltimore, glad to be coordinating defense, just trying to help win this championship.
All right, so let's go back to when you were a player. You were an undrafted free agent. The hunger an undrafted free agent has is something completely different from the first-round pick.
Yeah.
Can you teach your players that hunger?
I mean, I think you can teach them. I think you just try to show them examples and just continue to preach the message to them, like, you got to treat every day like it's your last day. Because honestly, no matter where you get drafted at, it could be just the way the game of football is. So you just try to instill that in them, the hard work, being disciplined, being on top of your studies, being on top of the game plan, and just, let it go from there. But I think you definitely can teach your players that hunger and drive.
How much do you use your own personal experience as a player with your players?
I use the same methods, the same mindset to teach them. So I do use it a lot. I don't usually really use my situation personally a lot, but I use maybe other people's situations, and that goes from NBA, golf, boxing. I always try to find different situations that helps relate. But my type of mindset and situation is definitely instilled in those guys.
Why do you think it's important? Whether you're talking about a maverick shooting guard, whether you're talking about a great linebacker you played with, whether you're talking about a great running back you faced. Why are specific examples in real life important in teaching?
It just shows that everybody's kind of going through the same deal. Everybody has to have the same mindset, same work ethic to be successful, no matter what you're doing in life, no matter whether it's sports or it's basketball, whether it's just in life in general. So we try to always teach our players that there's no shortcut to success. There's no shortcut to being great. These are the steps you have to take to be great. And there's different examples of that. We try to share that with all those guys.
What about your age? Do you feel like you have to mitigate that? Do you ever think about putting any white in your beard?
I actually got a little white coming in a little bit now. But no, I definitely don't. I think that I really don't think about the age, really, honestly. I think players, they respect people who know what they're talking about, who are prepared, who practice what they preach. Like, if I ask the players to work hard and be on top of their things, I got to make sure I'm doing the same thing. And I think I show those guys that they respect you no matter, what your age is.
What is your philosophy on being an authority figure and also being someone they can turn to? You don't necessarily want to be friends. It's like a parent, right? You don't want to be friends with your son. But what's the line there? What's your approach?
My approach is, at the end of the day, I tell these guys from the very first meeting, my goal in life is to see you guys be successful. So no matter whatever that takes for me to help you be successful, that's what I'm going to do. So a lot of times it's going to be loving you up, encouraging you. A lot of times it's going to be, sometimes we might have to have a tough situation. But at the end of the day, tough conversation. But at the end of the day, my best interest is you being the best version of yourself. And I think that when they understand that and they see that, and that's a daily thing that you work at, and they see that from you, man, they respect it, and they can't do nothing but listen and appreciate the way you go about it.
Okay, so honesty can sometimes hurt.
Yeah.
Honesty is the best way to
sure.
get someone to respect you in some ways,
Definitely.
but it can also hurt.
Definitely.
So how do you manage that?
I just be upfront with them, and I think just being honest all the time is like, look, this is what we say we need to be done. It's not getting done. How can we go about getting the correct solution that's best for all of us? And I think that you continue to show that to them. That's the best way. Now, also too, is like, if I make a mistake, me being honest and telling them, hey, that's not on you, that's me, and you hold yourself accountable. They respect that, so they're not feeling like you're just picking on them in a certain situation. That you're being honest not only with them, but you're being honest with yourself, and you're holding everybody else to the same standard.
Okay, you bring up a great topic when you talk about accountability. You've been on both sides of this, coach and player. What accountability needs to flow from players, and what accountability authority has to only be the coaches? Like you think about a locker room that polices itself.
Yeah.
Is that you're smiling, so you're thinking about, is that necessary? Is that important?
Definitely. I think that's definitely important for the players. Like when you get the players talking about, man, we need to take care of our bodies. We need to make sure we're putting extra time in the film room. We need to make sure that when we're on the practice field, we're focused, we're locked in. When it's one message that's flowing from the coaches to the players, and the players are flowing that same message in the locker room, now you have something really special. And I've been part of teams on both sides of where I've been a coach. And like last year, I was on the coaching side of things. Man, you know that everybody was on one accord. The players were preaching the same thing that we were preaching in the meetings, and they held each other accountable. I've been a part of teams as a player where we've held each other accountable in the locker room. So when you get that, you got something really special. And I think that's real important. I think that just shows what type of team you have and what type of organization you have when the message coming from the top and it flows all the way through the locker room.
Who's the best player leader you've ever been around?
Oh man, it's I have to say one, or I can say a couple.
Give us a few.
Oh man, I would have to say you got Terrell Suggs, Eric Weddle, Steve Smith, current players. Roquan Smith. I mean, Roquan Smith I'll just talk about him since he's current. I mean, Roquan Smith is A+ person and A+ player. Like that guy shows up to work every day, ready to go, and he's just a great dude and a great teammate. But those people I named right there stick out at the forefront.
What's the connective tissue? What ties them all together? They're very different.
Yeah.
Eric Weddle and Terrell Suggs are two totally different personalities.
For sure.
But what's the connection?
They're first and foremost, they're real competitive. They're all great players, right? Real great players, real competitive. They care about their teammates' success just as much as they care about their own success. So they want to see other people succeed just as much as they want to succeed. And then they hold themselves accountable as well as holding their teammates accountable as well.
So how do you as a coach foster that? You were talking about guys that when you were playing, they were already veterans.
Yeah.
But let's say you have a young guy right now that you see some leadership skills in.
Yep.
How do you foster that? How do you make that come out?
You just continue to encourage them. I mean, I think you just continue to, everybody understands what the standard is, and when they're doing the standard correctly, we point it out. We celebrate those things in our meeting room, and you just encourage them. And we know it's different type of leaders. Like some people like to lead more by example. Some people try to lead, more, vocally. But at the end of the day, to be a leader, you have to be doing the same thing. So, we encourage all type of leaders. And if it's a person that, be like, man, you got a little more respect than what you think. Don't worry about how young you are. If it's on your mind, you can speak up and say something. Or a lot of times we'll give players opportunity to say a couple things in front of the defense or in front of the team. I think Coach Harbaugh does a great job with that. And we'll call on those guys so we can get a couple words from them.
Okay, tell us about your process. So when you were playing for Coach Harbaugh, were you already thinking, I want to do this one day?
I knew I wanted to coach. I didn't know at this level, though, honestly. I was like, in my mind, I kid you not, I thought I was going to play 10, 15 years, hopefully be in a real good situation, go back home to Texas and probably, coach high school ball and just, live pretty much a normal life. But when my situation happened and, Miss Brashadi, Ozzie, and Coach Harbaugh called me about this opportunity, my mind kind of switched and was like, man, I love the National Football League because the highest level. I'm a real competitive person. Can't do it anymore as a player. Why not, do it as a coach if I knew that's something I wanted to get into.
So if a young coach is considering joining a staff, what would you advise? Clearly there was something about John Harbaugh that you said, I want to come be on his staff.
Yeah.
What would you say you need to look for in a head coach?
First thing, man, you got to look for just a great person. I mean, I truly believe the more and more I'm getting into this, you want to be around great people. Like, is this dude a great man outside the building? All right, Coach Harbaugh, check that off the book, check that off the list. Great man, great husband, great father, right? Then you want to know if they are a great leader. Are they a great leader of men, a great teacher? Check those off the list with Coach Harbaugh. And then is he competitive? Is he a competitive guy? Check that off the list. And then I would say, is he going to help you? Is he going to challenge you to help you grow? And then, boom, everybody knows Coach Harbaugh. He's going to challenge you, and he challenges himself to continue to learn and be at the forefront of what's going on in the game of football.
All right, let's talk about that one then. You're 31 years old.
Yeah.
You've never called plays before.
Yep.
Why do you trust that John Harbaugh is going to be able to help you, that he's put you in position to succeed?
I mean, you just look at his track record. You look at his track record, what he's done. I mean, what he's going to his 17th year here. I mean, look at many of the coaches that he's helped, come underneath him, that he's helped
But
raise
personally,
and grow.
what are
With
things
me?
how does he spend time with you, or what
Oh,
are things
okay.
he says to you, or does he come into your meeting
Yeah.
room? Like
Oh,
what
yeah.
what is it that makes you
Man.
say, okay, this guy is making me feel like he's a mentor?
Yeah, I mean, he's always in my meeting room, which is great. He's in my meeting room. He's in my meetings. He's active in the meetings. After the meetings, he'll tell me great job, give me a couple pointers here or there, and he's always thinking. So a lot of times he'll even call me and be like, "Hey, I was thinking about this scheme, or I like how you said this. Let's think about this way and see how it fits in what we want to do." So we're always having those conversations, and I love it. I love it because now I love him being involved in his advice, because he's been around a lot of football. He's seen a lot of different things. He's plugged in with the offense, so he knows how offenses think. He's been around multiple defensive schemes, helped build the one that we're currently running right now. So he has great ideas, and we're always in contact. So him always asking about my opinion, him bouncing ideas off of me, gives me confidence and gives me belief that, man, he trusts me.
Okay, let's talk about that. Defensive philosophy. You never
Yeah.
want to be a slave to a scheme,
Yeah.
but you have to have a philosophy.
Yeah.
And then I imagine each coach tweaks it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you look at something and say, okay, this is the core of who our head coach is. This is the core of what our franchise is.
Yeah.
But I also want to put my own flavor on it.
Yeah.
Do you? Or do you just say, we're just going to run what we've run?
Nah, I definitely have my own flavor with it, but it's within the principles of what we believe in here. And when we talk about the principles here, we talk about stopping the run, attacking the ball, and eliminating quarterbacks. And there's different ways to do that, as far as disguises, blitz patterns, different looks with the front. The way the system is built is we can get to all those different things easily, because we teach our players not just plays, we teach them concepts of what we're trying to get done. So it's easy. It's real easy to learn, and everybody has their own. I think every coordinator has their own little flavor that they like. Like, coordinator might like playing a different front more than another coordinator for different reasons. Another coordinator might like playing a different coverage more than another coverage. But I always look at it like this. It's a player's game, me personally. So like, that's why I like that we're starting to practice now, because you really get a chance to see what the players are best at and what they can execute. And we're gonna run what the players can execute and what they do best, and put them in position to be the best version of themselves.
How much input do you want from your players? Do you poll them? Hey, do you like doing this? Do you like doing that? What we hear that about
Yeah.
quarterbacks all the time.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks will tell you.
Definitely.
But what about linebackers? Do you ask linebackers?
Yeah,
what do you
definitely,
like to do?
definitely. I like talking to, obviously, linebackers. This position I played and most familiar with, but all the players, I like it, because one thing as a player that I have kind of advantage of being one is I've been in their shoes. So a lot of times when you get up there and you drawing stuff on the board and you sitting in a nice air condition, it sounds good. But when it's different when you get out there and you got live bullets coming at you, it's different. So I always encourage players, like, man, shoot, you got something, or you have a question, or you have an idea, bring it to us and let's talk about it. And have now with that, you got to have a reason. You can't just say, hey, let's do this. Okay, why do you want to do it? How does it fit? Well, what are the strengths? What are weaknesses to it? Now you have all that. Bring it on. Let's roll and let's talk about it.
Do you notice a difference when you feel that players are invested in what you're calling and doing?
Yes, definitely. I definitely feel like that, because you want to make it the players. It's like we say, it's our scheme. It's not just Zach Orr's scheme. It's not just the Ravens scheme. It's not just the Raven coaches scheme. It's the Ravens defense. That's players and coaches included. It's our scheme. So we give them a lot of ownership in it. Like I said, the way the scheme is built, it's a lot of different checks and calls and that they can get to on their own. That's easy built in. That's part of the system. So when they take ownership in and they feel like it's theirs, I mean, they definitely invest. They don't want to mess it up, which is great as a coach.
Okay, let's say I have a son who's a tweener.
Yeah.
He could put on some weight and be a linebacker. He could not and be a safety. What's the personality of a linebacker? When you're looking at who you want, what do you want?
We're talking about on the field, right? On the field?
Sure. Oh, well, if it matters off the field.
Okay, off the field, we
But
want
on
great
the field.
people. We want great person. We want all that. Okay, great.
But on the field, what makes a linebacker?
On the field, you want a leader, man. You want a leader who commands the defense, who commands the voice of the room. A guy who's gonna get people lined up, who's gonna be able to control the front and control the back end, and then just gonna play relentless and gonna play real violent, real physical from snap one until the last snap of the game, the whole game. So
you don't need that out of your safety.
Love it. I would say we have one safety who plays that way. Right. But not one, but we have multiple safeties. I think that's just really anybody on the Ravens defense. Honestly, we got multiple people who play that way. But linebacker, for sure, you want to play linebacker, you have to be on your P's and Q's from a mental standpoint and a leadership standpoint, and then physically, man, it's you in the middle. You got to take on linemen, you got to tackle running backs, you have to guard people, so you have to be violent, physical, and relentless.
All right, Zach, last thing. We are obviously trying to be a resource for young coaches. You haven't done it yet, but you are going to be calling plays.
Yep.
What has been your preparation process, and what would you advise a young position coach who is thinking about getting there at some point? How should they prepare?
I would say this, probably like 3 years ago, I had a coach tell me, and just when I was a linebacker coach, he told me, he said, man, you need to start, when you guys are game planning, I know you game plan your area, but when you get some time, towards the end of the week, you need to start thinking about how you would call the game, as if you were the coordinator. So honestly, the last 3 years, I've been doing that. And Mike McDonald, he was great, giving us a lot of ownership in the staff room about what we thought, and not just in our game plan area, but just overall thoughts. So I kind of been thinking about that way for the last 3 years. So I would say my advice to a position coach is, man, handle your position, make sure your position group is ready to roll, make sure they know what to do, make sure they're ready to go play, make sure your game plan area, that whatever game plan area you have is scouted and done. And then when you get some time towards the end of the week, just think about how you would call the game. Think about really what this offense is trying to get accomplished, how they're going to attack the scheme, and how you were going to counter-react to that.
Did you do it in-game? Like in-game, would you, before Mike would say something, would you say, this is what I'd call here? This is what I do?
In-game you find yourself, because you know that as the game's going, you start picking up on the tendencies that you already scouted, and then it comes to life, during the game, or maybe in the game that they're attacking you a different way than you might have thought. So you start picking up on what they're really trying to do now, and you start thinking, hey, this will be a good call, this will be a good call. And so you definitely think that way, because like I said, the way we work here is great. Like, we're always talking on the headset, so you always kind of have to have some in your mind, because you might get asked, hey, what do you guys think here? What would you go to in this? So I definitely would think about that in game as well.
Okay, I lied. One more. Who's the offensive, whichever way you want, offensive player, offensive coach, offensive scheme? Who's sort of the most mentally challenging? And how do you choose to embrace the challenge?
Honestly, I would say, I would say the Ravens. I would say the Ravens, and I would say Lamar Jackson. That's why I'm glad that I'm the Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, so I don't have to go against Lamar, just because you see the great things like that he's done. I mean, you can have everything covered, and you got to do everything right, and it can still be an explosive play just because number 8's back there. You could say that for a couple, some quarterbacks in the league. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, much respect to him. He's another guy. You could do everything right. You can have everything covered, and he finds a way to extend the play, and then now it leads to something else. So, but I had to go with Lamar. I'm so glad that he's on our team, and I don't have to game plan for him, because he can score from 99 yards out, arm or leg. So that's a major problem to deal with.
Visit harballcoachingacademy.org.